Hi everyone, and welcome to the Say As It Is with Pete podcast series. I'm Pete, your host, and each week I will bring you some frank and honest conversations covering various topics from learning and development, apprenticeships, funding, HR, strengths, recruitment, ESG, well-being, ED&I, employability, and much, much more. So let's get this week's episode underway and say as it is. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Say As It Is with Pete, and I am your bubbling, honest, frank conversation host, Pete, with lots of enthusiasm. So in this week's episode, we're going to discuss a topic that is critical to any business, and that is about investing in your team for leadership development. And as we continue June for L&D, I thought this would be a great topic for this week. So why should businesses invest in leadership development? That's a pretty good question, Pete. Well, for one, according to a study by the Centre of Creative Leadership, companies with the highest quality leaders were 13 times more likely to perform or outperform their competition. Now, that is a significant impact on the bottom line, right? But it's not all about financial success. So investing in your employees' leadership development can lead to a more positive and engaged workplace culture. As Simon Sneak said, leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. Now, I just want to highlight that I went to the CIPD Festival of Work back on the 7th and 8th of June this year. And a lot of L&D and HR professionals would have gone to this anyway. It was an amazing event, bigger than I've seen before. And it really focused on lots of different workplace cultures. And if you didn't go or missed it, there is an on-demand service, which is about £95 or something that you pay to access everything from the event and from the show. All of the talks and various other things. But being there was quite interesting to see how much the workplace culture is evolving and developing. So the next one is in June next year, and that's going to be Excel. So if you book yourself on that, do go. It is a show that is worth going to see. And also it keeps your CPD up to date. As professionals, we should be doing that anyway. But I would highly recommend it because you get a whole insight of what's kind of the movers and shakers within HR and L&D. So without further ado, let me carry on before I start going on a wonder. So how does leadership development relate to Strength Scope? Now, hang on a minute. You're probably going to say, Pete, why are you talking about Strength Scope again? Well, if you didn't know, or you should know by now from most of my episodes and from my LinkedIn, I am a Strength Scope Master Practitioner, which means I am qualified and accredited to deliver all the Strength Scope assessments or assessment tools and help you, your business and individuals identify their strengths and learn how to use them for both career, work and various other things that they're looking to use, and really focus on how they can identify their hidden potential strengths and develop them as well. And there's lots of benefits to Strength Scope and I love it, and as you all know, I'm a great advocate for strengths. So let's crack on. And also, by the way, I have embedded a very big strengths culture within my organisation that I work for. And as some of you know, I already have a business called Creativemind that looks at helping people identify their hidden strengths and unlocking their hidden strengths potential. Now, Strength Scope is a tool that helps individuals understand their unique strengths, or their significant sevens strengths, as well as their bubbling unders and their drainers, and how to apply them in a leadership role. So by identifying and leveraging their strengths, individuals can become more effective leaders and positively impact their teams and the organisation. I also want to highlight that Strength Scope Leader has 4 leadership habits. And they are really, really key. Now, when I did my Strength Scope Leader, it was very in-depth. I got more out of it than probably Strength Scope 360. Now, I'm not saying Strength Scope 360, nearly tongue twister then isn't worth it. It absolutely is, and I fully fly the flag for StrengthScope 360. But being a leader, StrengthScope Leader was a lot more in depth, as it pulls in your strengths profile, and also looks at how your strengths relate to the 4 leadership habits. And it is really good to do, and I strongly recommend it. And if you do, I will tell you, reach out to me and I can tell you more about that. Now, one of the key benefits as well of the StrengthScope Leader is it helps leaders become more self-aware of their strengths and potential areas of improvement. Now, this awareness allows them to focus on developing their strengths and becoming better leaders. But how do you identify potential leaders who would benefit from StrengthScope? Well, what you need to do, and this is some friendly advice, is look for employees who have a natural talent for inspiring and motivating others. But also, and this is key, listen to this, keep an eye out for those who may not appear to have leadership potential at first, because a lot of people do have it, but it's about using their strengths to grow. Now, StrengthScope Leader can identify hidden talents and unique strengths that are critical for successful leadership. And once you've identified potential leaders, how do you create a leadership development program that can incorporate StrengthScope Leader? Well, I'm going to tell you, but I also want to make note that I actually have embedded this within my organisation that I work with, but also within the Creativemind.zone service I offer, and have created an inspiring leaders development program that really looks at taking potential leaders through the business, which I'm more than happy to discuss further with you later on a one-to-one basis. But let me not drift off topic. Let me get back on track. So now, a successful program should include mentorship, training and coaching, all tailored to an individual's unique strengths and needs. And it's important to make a program that is scalable so that it can grow with the individual's development. So as Jeff Weiner, former CEO of LinkedIn, once said, leadership development is not an event, it's a journey. And I fully agree. Your strengths will help you grow and take you on that wonderful journey to unlock your hidden strengths within, or unlock your potential within your hidden strengths, I should say. And once you've identified your strengths, your bubbling unders and your drainers, it's really going to make you grow and develop on your journey, and it's going to help so much. So any part of our learning is a journey. From the day we're born to the day we die, we are always learning. And I totally agree with the above quote that leadership development is not an event, it is a journey. Now, I couldn't agree more, but how can we ensure the success of your leadership development program? Well, measuring the success of the program is crucial, right? Tracking matrices such as the employee engagement and retention rates can help evaluate the impact of your program, and regularly soliciting feedback from your employees can help you refine the program over time. As Peter Drucker once said, the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. Now, those are some great tips, okay? And as we wrap up, what final thoughts do we have on the importance of investing in leadership development and the StrengthScope Leader assessment tool? Well, guess what, people? Leadership development is essential for any business that wants to thrive in today's competitive landscape. And StrengthScope Leader is a powerful tool that can help individuals identify and leverage their unique strengths to become better leaders. So by investing in leadership development and utilizing tools like StrengthScope Leader, businesses can create a culture of engaged and effective leaders who drive success for their organizations. But before we go, let's take a moment to reflect on some of the key takeaways from today's episode. So first, investing in leadership development is not just good for business, it's good for people too. So by empowering employees to become better leaders, you create a positive workplace culture to help individuals reach their full potential. Secondly, StrengthScope Leader is a valuable tool for leadership development. So by identifying individuals' unique 7 strengths and how they relate to the 4 leadership habits, it helps them to become a more self-aware and better equipped to lead their teams, and it also creates a very unique leader brand, which, if you want to know more, let me know. And finally, developing effective leaders is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time trick, it is an ongoing process. So it requires a commitment to the continuous learning and improvement and a willingness to adapt to changing circumstances. As the business world continues to evolve, investing in leadership development and utilising tools like StrengthScope Leader will become increasingly important for success, not only for the individual, but also for the business. But hang on. I'm not even finished yet. And I like to tease you a little bit, because now that we've discussed the importance of leadership and its relation to StrengthScope Leader, let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of investing in leadership development. And I love looking at pros and cons, and I think it's good during these topics to have that frank conversation about those pros and cons. Now, first, let's talk about the pros. Always start with good, right? So one major advantage is that leadership development programs have been shown to positively impact businesses' performance. Companies with strong leaders are more likely to outperform their competitors, leading to increased profits and growth. Another pro is that leadership development creates a positive and engaged workplace culture. And as I said before, workplace culture is key right now. So by investing in the development of your employees, businesses foster an environment where individuals feel supported, valued, and motivated to succeed. And that's been proven by studies relating to StrengthScope. And I can happily send you that. And you can head across to Creativemind.zone, and there will be some statistics on there very shortly. So furthermore, leadership development programs such as StrengthScope Leader help individuals become more self-aware of their strengths and potential areas of or potential areas for improvement, I should say. This self-awareness allows leaders to leverage their strengths effectively and address any weaknesses, leading to more effective leadership. And I don't like the word weaknesses. I think, more improvements. There are some, we all have weaknesses, but that's a word I don't really like to use. And if you've got a different word for it that I could use, please let me know, because I don't like that word weakness. I think it's it just doesn't fit right with me. But anyway, I've used it, so slap me on the wrist. Pete, you used it. So now, they're the pros. So now let's discuss the cons. So one potential challenge is the time and resources required for implementing a comprehensive leadership development program. So developing effective leaders takes dedication and investment, both in terms of financial resources and time commitment. Another challenge is the need for ongoing evaluation and adaptation. So leadership development is not a one-time event, as I've said before, but rather a continuous journey. So businesses must be willing to assess the effectiveness of their programs. You've got to solicitate feedback, get that feedback from the individuals, and make necessary adjustments to keep up with the changing needs in their leaders and the organization. So lastly, it can be a challenge to identify individuals with leadership potential, especially those who may not initially stand out to us within the business. However, tools like StrengthScope or StrengthScope Leader can help uncover hidden talents and unique strengths that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. And I would agree with that. I know I've written this, but I would agree, because within my organisation we have a strength scope wall, and there are some really hidden talents or hidden strengths that we didn't know certain people had. And now we know that we can pull on those strengths, but also when we go into meetings and things, or we've got projects that we're working on, we can have the right team put together by identifying individual strengths. But it's not just the strengths. I had this conversation with the MD of Strength Scope and Ben Oliver and Mary Devine from Strength Scope. And one of the things you got to look at is that with your strengths, we all focus on our significant 7 strengths, which is great, but we also have our bubbling unders, and those are strengths that we have the potential to be great at. And some of those people that have got those potential strengths, sometimes if you're really struggling to find anyone with that strength you're looking for a meeting or project we're working on, then look for someone with that bubbling under strength, because actually pulling on their strength or the bubbling under strength, you might be surprised. And if you want to know more about creating a strengths-based work culture, then come and reach out to me. So, in conclusion, before I keep waffling. So in conclusion, the pros of investing in leadership development, such as improved business performance, a positive workplace culture, and an increased self-awareness, outweigh the potential cons, which include the need for resources, ongoing evaluation, and identification of leadership potential. So by recognizing the importance of leadership development, utilizing tools like Strength Scope or Strength Scope Leader, and addressing any changes head on, businesses like yourselves, if you are a business person listening, can create a pipeline of effective leaders who drive success and growth. And this is not just to corporate businesses I'm talking to. I work with a lot of training providers, and this goes to training providers and education as well. Guys, wake up. Strength Scope is the most valuable tool that you can use within the education system to help teachers, trainers and educators grow and identify their strengths and grow within the business. But also sometimes it's great for apprentices. It's great for individuals in the class to know what their strengths, their bubbling unders and their potential drainers are. Knowing what that setup is, I think, is a lot more better within a classroom environment or within a school, college, university, etc. And I'm really keen to get that kind of topic going. So if you are an educational professional that is listening to this, reach out to me on LinkedIn or via Creativemind.zone and connect with me there, and I'd love to get you onto a episode around this, especially using strengths within education. Now, what I'm going to say is that by recognizing the importance of leadership development, utilizing tools like Strength Scope, as I said, and addressing the challenges head on, businesses can create pipeline effective leaders. So I'm kind of repeating myself there, but there we are. Now, in this episode, we've had that conversation on leadership development. So we've touched upon the significance of Strength Scope Leader in helping individuals become effective leaders. Now let's delve deeper, as I say, into how Strength Scope plays into this whole equation, because I keep mentioning Strength Scope a lot. And I know people are reaching out to me saying, Pete, what's going on with Strength Scope? Tell me more. Well, here we go. So just so you know, and I've said this before, and I've done some episodes on Strength Scope, but Strength Scope is a powerful tool that enables individuals to identify their unique 7 strengths, as well as understanding their bubbling unders. So those are strengths that somebody has the potential to be great at, as well as their energy drainers. Now, as individuals identify those strengths and understand how to leverage them, especially in a leadership role. So by focusing on strengths rather than solely addressing weaknesses, Strength Scope empowers leaders to maximize their potential and positively impact their teams and themselves. So one of the key advantages to StrengthScope is that it promotes self-awareness. Through the assessment process, leaders gain an insight into their strengths, potential areas of growth, and how they can contribute most effectively. This heightened self-awareness allows leaders to play to their strengths and build confidence in their abilities. Because even with your strengths, there is about stretch and challenging your strengths, and stretch and challenging your bubbling unders, and also stretch and challenging your weaknesses, believe it or not. Now, strengths helps leaders understand how their strengths align with their leadership style and values. It provides a framework for leaders to lead authentically based on their natural strengths and motivations. This authenticity is essential in establishing trust and building strong relationships with team members. So, additionally, StrengthScope encourages a growth mindset. So, with that growth mindset, I just want to say there is that thing that I've mentioned before called the pathway of possibility, taking you from the pathway of limitation to the pathway of possibility, and it is about that growth mindset. Now, while it acknowledges strengths, it also highlights areas for development. So by identifying areas where leaders can improve, StrengthScope enables targeted development efforts and focuses on continuous learning. Now, there is another benefit to StrengthScope, and it is the ability to uncover hidden talents and potential leaders. So sometimes individuals may not fit the conventional mold of a leader, but they possess unique strengths that can make them effective leaders in their own right. So StrengthScope helps identify those hidden talents, unlocking leadership potential throughout the organisation. However, it's important to note that StrengthScope is just one piece of the puzzle. While it provides valuable insights, it should be complemented by a comprehensive leadership development program that includes mentoring, training, and coaching to ensure a well-rounded development program. So in summary, StrengthScope plays a vital role in leadership development by promoting self-awareness, authenticity, and a growth mindset, and by uncovering hidden talents. Now, when integrated into a holistic leadership development program, StrengthScope can enhance the effectiveness of leaders and contribute to the thriving organizational culture. Now, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I think I've said enough, and I hope this episode on the role of investing in employees' leadership development and of StrengthScope in leadership development programs has shed light on the benefits it offers for leaders and organizations. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and you can also listen to previous podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung Podcasts, Google, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Now, and there will be obviously previous insightful content, and there's a lot more insightful content coming up. And please remember, embracing your strengths is the key to unlocking your leadership hidden potential. So, thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for next week's episode where we will explore more fascinating topics in the world of L&D. So until then, keep embracing your strengths and leading with confidence. And if you're wanting to identify your strengths or undertake a StrengthScope leader assessment and unlock your hidden leadership strengths and potential, then reach out to me on LinkedIn or via visiting Creativemind.zone for more information. And remember, you got this week, guys. It's going to be an interesting hot week, but you've got it. And until next week, keep listening.